1 2 2 1 2 1 2 2. Tell him the audio. We're good on the audio. We are good on the audio. Radio Shack. Ah.
Do you know what my camera tripod?
2 2 1 2 2. I said we are good with audio. Can you hear this? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just nod. You can hear me fine. But I'm going to actually say that doesn't matter. That's why we give it. One, two, 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 two. They're changing the gazebo. Huh? Why? Huh? What is he saying? Wait.
We're gonna come with sound from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that
So now we're moving the speaker now.
just from when he comes,
Yeah, because he had said that other things. So it's a new thing that we're doing.
So can you take it? Because I might have to hold it.
No pictures of cars. Oh, no pictures of cars.
One of our fine engineers in the region. He's going to take you through the technical aspect of the damage and the progress. Then after that, you will then be able to talk to the media having been informed. Okay. So take him through, feel free to take him through in terms of what you think.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we arrived here now. This is our technical engineer. He's going to show us here the work that has begun, as you can see, in terms of the real reconstruction in this particular place. And then from there, we will talk to you there and you can ask questions. We have gone to the rail site. Now we are here. From the rail site, you have seen the work that we have done in terms of the work that we have started. I'm with the councillor, our MMC of governance in eThekwini, Comrade Madlala. We started this morning by briefing the provincial government of transport, MEC of transport, with all the mayors in the province, with all our entities led by Sandral and Prasa here. Now we are here where we are. So you can see there are bypasses, but we'll show you, you know where the damage was, and the real work has now begun, led by Prasa. So the gentleman here will take us through that particular process to showcase, and then we'll go down to the question and answer session, and then we'll have a live media briefing. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed, since you know my spokesperson Ayanda has left me, so I've taken over the reins. so that we're all clear. My brother, yes.
Okay, thank you, Minister. So we are on the N2 section 24 of the N2, and this area, as you'll see, if you look around, you know, it's got these big cut embankments, as you'll see the hills there, and we got the full embankments here, you see at the bottom. So this area, obviously with the flooding, what's happened, and the high rainfall we had over those 3 days in early April, it just seeped through, and we got the high, deep clay layers. So obviously with that and the movement, it's caused the actual N2 northbound carriageway, which we are currently standing on now, to settle and actually move down the embankment. So as you will see, as we continue, you'll see one of the big challenges we've had, and that's why we had to close the N2, is that the N2 on the northbound carriageway on the slow lane has settled by over a meter, and we'll have a look at it just now. So, and that's a serious safety issue we have, and that's caused the N2 closure. So what we've done in the short term is to just ensure that the traffic flows. So currently the N2 northbound is still closed. We've deviated at the adjacent interchange. So traffic on northbound is now, we've deviated onto the Provincial network, the R197 and the R102. And so, yeah, so if you just can have a look here. So if you look there on your left-hand side, you can see this is the actual freeway where the slow lane, as you see, has settled over a meter here.
Careful.
Yeah,
Careful.
So if you can just stay off the edge. And the big concern here, as what I've also heard from the site team today, this area, there's still a movement taking place. So as well, in terms of the construction we're busy with now, we're trying to limit the heavy plant we have, just to prevent any further settlement. As you can see at the bottom, there are some homes here as well, and we've picked up some issues there with the movement of the embankment, causing some concerns down the bottom. So the intention is that what you see then on the right-hand side here, Minister, is that so in order for us to try and get traffic back onto the northbound as quick as possible, we're constructing this temporary lane, as you see in the median side. So it's wide enough. So it'll be a 6 meter wide lane we'll construct for the northbound temporarily. So once we have the traffic on here, and then what we're going to do, we're in the process then to appoint contractors. We're busy with the investigations, and we're hoping before end of May, we'll have the contractor appointed. So while the traffic on the northbound will travel on this new temporary lane, our new contractor will get onto the site, and then he will commence with construction. So we estimate the construction to take probably in the order between 6 to 7 months, but we obviously will try and accelerate it to try and get it completed. So the intention is, with the slip that we see here, so, it's a slip as we normally, would call it in terms of engineering terms. So the intention is, the contractors would work at the bottom, we'll remove what's here, and we'll come back and work from the bottom back up to the top. Generally, these contracts take, around 12, 15 months, but we obviously are going to have an accelerated program to try and finish it, in the shortest possible time. So, so as you see, this is what's being constructed now. And then this temporary lane, we're hoping, again, as we've heard from this morning's presentation, Minister, the big challenge is trying to get materials. And even talking to the contractor now on site, he's still having some challenges with the material availability. But we're obviously looking even outside the current areas where we're working with, further north coast and so forth, just to get the material here in the shortest possible time. And our plan was to try and actually open this lane today, but with the challenges we're having, we're hoping early next week, even by Sunday, to have this lane open.
This lane?
Yes, this temporary lane open.
Okay.
So currently, as we said, the northbound is deviated onto the provincial road, adjacent provincial road network. So at least then traffic can continue, even if it's one lane per direction, back towards the north coast.
And this is a local contractor who's doing this work?
Yes. So as we said this morning's presentation, so maybe you can introduce you to our contractor. So this is our local contractor from the area, and we really got him on board, and he's really one of the up-and-coming contractors.
Okay, no, I'm very happy. Thank you. Yeah.
So that's just a brief update. But as I said, we're hoping our contractor for the permanent work will be appointed, before end of May, and so we can commence with the permanent work for the repair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Guys, let's go. Just set up. I mean, I'm giving you 5 minutes, and everybody.
Under the shade.
No, it's fine here. Yeah. You can stand here. There's no problem. Yeah. Okay. Just give me one.
We must sit this side.
Yeah, those ones.
I don't know. No one person. Who's doing these things?
Do you have a sanitizer?
Asinayo kubhisa amenda incane.
This one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin our media briefing. If we could all gather around. We're about to start. We'll give the media another minute just to set up. We'll give another minute for everyone to settle down so that we can start.
Yes.
Tell us when we're ready.
Just waiting for media. We are ready to start, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by greeting the Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula. Also to welcome Deputy Minister Ms. Cindy Swachikunga. I've got here also the Deputy Mayor of eThekwini, Mr. Nkosenke Magala. I'd like to also greet the chairpersons of the boards of SANRAL and PRASA, together with the group executives of SANRAL and PRASA, the acting DG of Transport, Mr. Mtunzi Madia, and the DDG of Transport, and also the members of the transport family in its entirety. I'd like to also greet all our guests that are here, the members of the media. Thank you for joining us. We are going to start the second part of the program, which is the media briefing. But before we give way to the minister, I would like to invite our Deputy Minister of eThekwini, Mr. Magala, to just come and give us a quick welcoming. Thank you. Councillor Magala, if you can come through.
No, thank you very much, ma'am. Before you start writing, let us clarify this. There hasn't been any changes in eThekwini. PG Mavundla is still the deputy mayor. I'm here on behalf of himself and Mayor Kaunda. I'm the MMC for governance. That is how you know us outside KZN. In KZN, we say it's ExCom member responsible for governance and HR. Thank you very much. I think we want to thank you, Honorable Minister, for being here. We also want to thank the President from leading from the front. He was here and he promised us that he was going to bring an army of ministers to come and do the assessment, and then to also assist us in our third phase of response, which is rebuilding and reconstruction. We are happy that responding swiftly to this crisis. We understand that our communities are impatient because they expect that when they see the president walking in KZN, immediately after that, services will start getting restored. A road is going to be constructed where it was washed away and all of that. We understand their frustration, but we are dealing with issues, and we are happy that the Minister is here. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Things in politics are not static. They are always in a state of flux. So when they started to say he's a deputy mayor, I'm sure most of you who live here in eThekwini, you thought maybe the coalition has collapsed or something. Or there have been changes. Comrade Madlala is our MMC in the coalition government here as MMC of governance. He is here today representing the mayor and the city of eThekwini. We started today, this morning, with a meeting with all the district mayors in Kwazulu-Natal as a sector of the Department of Transport. You know that transport within this disaster of floods is number one hard hit in terms of roads, and in particular in Kimcechwayo, followed by eThekwini, Ilembe, and then all other areas. Hence, the president declared a national state of disaster. So this morning we came, and what did we do? And this is what I'm going to detail to the press today. The real work, as the president have outlined, that the first is to bring humanitarian aid and hope to our people, which was the first phase. We're still phasing out that particular phase. We are now entering the phase of reconstruction, where you find that bridges have been washed away, and then the roads have also been affected. The city of eThekwini have also responded promptly in many areas, where you find that bridges have been washed away within 10 days for purposes of economic activity. Those bridges were actually restored. So as the department, we have done our homework, and the work still continues. And I'm here not alone, with all the entities of the Department of Transport. The lead department, the lead entity in terms of road construction is Sanral, and followed by PRASA. PRASA dealing with rail network. That has also been affected. So we just came now from the rail network to showcase, but to also to observe the work that have started in terms of restoring the rail network here in eThekwini and Kwazulu-Natal. So we are here now to give you a feedback in terms of the work overall that has been done in the province. Thank you, Andiswa. Andiswa is our spokesperson from PRASA, one of our rail network leading agencies. I'm here with the chairperson of the boards, but in particular Mr. Leonard Ramatlakani and the acting CEO of PRASA are here, as well as a Sanral chairperson, Mr. Mhambi is here, together with his team, and as well as acting CEO. And should there be technical questions that are going to arise, any one of them will step forward to assist with the questions. I'm also with the Acting Director General of Transport, with the entire family of transport in terms of the branches of the department. I'm also with the Deputy Minister, who has had to attend to another engagement because we have deployed there in the Maritime University, and they've got a virtual meeting, but they will join us later. I'm also with the MEC of Transport. We have gone to Ilembe for another engagement. She will join us later when we go to Molweni for humanitarian aid and also social responsibility activity, where our entities will be distributing what? It's tiring. Yeah, and also food parcels. As you know, that area has been totally blocked for some time in terms of the road and all of that, but the city and all our entities and the province have been working very hard to clear the road. So we'll be ending our program there. We have now established what we call Rapid Response Task Team, led by the National Department of Transport with all our entities. Rapid Response Task Team report weekly, and that includes all the municipalities, district municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal. Humanitarian aid, any form of disaster intervention that needs to be done, Rapid Response will meet weekly and will report to the minister in terms of transport. We will also report to the disaster management team led by Minister Nkosazana, and as well to the President and Cabinet on the work we are doing to intervene in KwaZulu-Natal as the Department of Transport, joining our sister departments, human settlement, social development, and many others. So I wish to start by saying that the recent floods in KwaZulu-Natal left its wake of devastation that left many families destitute and critical transport infrastructure in a bad state of repair. We have moved with speed to respond to the devastation that has cut off communities from centers of economic activity and social amenities. However, moving with speed does not always translate to immediate reopening of roads or railway lines, as the level of damage may require construction and rehabilitation that may take months to complete. As government, we have a responsibility to mobilize resources to alleviate the plight of those whose lives have been disrupted by this devastation. We must equally support those who have lost loved ones, and in some instances, these were breadwinners. Since the declaration of the disaster as a consequence of the floods that ravaged parts of KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, our entities, SANRAL and PRASA, have been calculating the costs, the disaster in their respective spaces, particularly PRASA in relation to eThekwini. On the 18th of April 2022, on declaring the national state of disaster, President Ramaphosa designated the South African National Road Agency as the lead agency on the extensive work required to repair roads in the province, starting with an immediate focus on the N2 and N3 highways. Since then, SANRAL has worked with the provincial and municipal authorities in KwaZulu-Natal to advance the rebuilding and rehabilitation work required to restore normalcy to the lives of the people in the province. Through this work, a consolidated list of affected infrastructure that includes national, provincial, and municipal roads has been compiled, and further assessment is still being undertaken to ensure completeness of this list. This has enabled SANRAL and the province to prioritize repairs to road infrastructure where communities were completely cut off, roads impassable forcing diversion of traffic to substandard alternative routes or toll roads. The N2 northbound in Umgababa is an example of such road. Our interventions are multifaceted, ranging from measures to alleviate the economic impact on road users to rebuilding and rehabilitation of infrastructure. Following the declaration of the state of disaster, I made a request to the board of SANRAL to consider intervention that include suspension of toll fees in seriously affected areas. As a consequence, the SANRAL board, in line with its mandate, took a resolution to suspend the payment of toll fees at the Utongati and Umvoti toll plazas on the N2 toll route. This suspension is meant to assist communities affected by the closure of alternative roads damaged by the floods. Similarly, the repair of the alternative roads, while these interim measures are in place, will be prioritized and accelerated so as to make it possible for the affected communities to be able to use them again as soon as possible. Repair and rehabilitation work on the N2 and N3 is already underway at a total cost of 542.5 million rand. 542.5 million rand. This work will be funded from the Central budget. The following sections of the national roads are therefore receiving priority. Mhlali River Bridge northbound. The design and construction drawings to repair damages to the bridge have been finalized. We anticipate that the repair work will be complete in 3 months from the date of the award of the contract. Ramp M45 Queen Nandi to N2 South over Umhlangane River. The design and construction drawings have been finalized. We anticipate that the repair work will be complete in 1 month from the date of the award of the contract. Louis Botha Overpass, the design and construction drawings have been finalized. We anticipate that the repair work will be complete in 2 months from the date of the award of the contract. Umhlanga River Reach, the design and construction drawings have also been finalized. We anticipate that the repair work will be complete in 1 month from the date of award of the contract. AMCO culvert on N3 southbound ramp at Peaceville interchange. Design and scoping to address pavement failure and severe erosion of the road fill above the Peaceville AMCO culvert have been finalized. We anticipate that the repair work will be complete in 6 months from the date of the award. Embankment failure on N2 northbound carriage. Initial assessment and scoping of the work by Central to address the complete embankment failure resulting in northbound carriage, slow lane and shoulder settlement over 1 meter have been completed. We anticipate that the repair work will be completed in 8 months from the date of the award of the contract. Embankment failure on N2 southbound carriageway. Design and construction drawings to repair embankment failure resulting in cracking and settlement on the southbound carriage shoulder affecting the slow and fast lanes have been finalized. We anticipate that this will take 10 months. We're engaging National Treasury and the National Disaster Management Center to finalize funding for repairs of provincial roads. This funding will be allocated through the reprioritization of the provincial road maintenance grant to the tune of 3.1 billion. The province had initially requested assistance to the tune of 5.1 billion. However, through the reprioritization of the provincial budget, the 2.6 billion will be funded by the province. The following are provincial roads and municipal structures that have also been identified for priority repairs and rehabilitation. Central has been appointed as an implementing agent for this work. M4 slip number 1, repair to the embankment washaway with failure of the road, which include the shoulder and half a lane wide, will take 6 weeks to complete. M4 Ploti Reach road will take 2 months. M4 slip number 2 will take 1 week to complete. M4 Tongati River Bridge will take 12 months. M4 slip number 3 will take 3 months. R102 Culvert Road will take 6 months. R102 slip at Mhlali River Bridge number 2556 will take 1 month. R102 Tete River Bridge will take 6 months. R02 Culvert number 2 STC 2538 will take 12 to 16 months estimate. The PRASA rail network in Kwazulu-Natal has not been spared the devastation of the floods. The disaster compounded an already challenged rail network that had been hit hard by theft and vandalism of rail infrastructure. The service recovery for commuter rail will be undertaken in phases due to the severity of the impact of the floods on the rail network. We went to see the work that has already started in the interjunction around Umlazi before we came here. The first phase will focus on restoring safe train movement in areas where damage was limited. We anticipate achieving a recovery in north between 1 to 3 months, particularly in areas where the damage is not as severe. Emergency procurement processes have been activated to introduce a diesel service by the end of May 2022 in the following corridors: Durban to Stenga, Durban to Pinetown. The second phase of the recovery will focus on recovering damaged and destroyed infrastructure, which will take between 3 to 6 months from the date of the award of the contract in the following corridors: Durban to Kwamashu, Durban to Umlazi, new main line to Kato Ridge, reunion to Kelso, which will be confirmed once structural and geotechnical engineering consultants have been appointed to Ilovo Bridge. The Umlazi line remains a challenge due to major encroachment of houses into the rail reserve, rendering the sites inaccessible. Remember, this is the other problem we are facing in Cape Town Central Line that we are dealing with. We will address this challenge with various stakeholders, including the affected communities. This will enable us to move faster in recovering the Umlazi line. We are grateful that eThekwini municipality has extended support to PRASA by offering teams to undertake clean-up and rubble removal, as well as collaboration on infrastructure rehabilitation. The quantum cost for the repairs and rehabilitation of the rail network affected by flood damage is estimated at 3.3 billion. In conclusion, we are working closely with communities to ensure that our commitment to speedy repairs to both our road and rail infrastructure in the shortest possible time is realized. Our priority is to do what the President has mandated us to do in the context of the disaster, to ensure that we bring about hope and humanitarian aid to our people and open up bridges that will enable economic activity in the different areas throughout the province. We will inspect both Sanral and PRASA projects and satisfy ourselves that we are making significant strides. Where we are now is one of such projects that have been undertaken, particularly by Sanral, to ensure that the service is restored, particularly for economic activity here in KwaZulu-Natal. And with that, I thank you, and we're ready for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Now for the second part of this program, we are going to invite the media who've been patiently waiting for this leg of the program to ask questions. If the chairpersons and the executives of the various entities, if they can be on standby to support the minister in answering the question and answers I will ask now journalists if they have any questions for the minister to raise their hands, state name, surname, and the organization they're coming from. Thank you.
The first question, Minister, it's all good and proper to have all this money to fix the whole structure, but as you alluded to, PRASA has been facing many problems, vandalism, spoken about these issues. What are you as a minister and also the department going to do to protect the infrastructure that has been damaged?
Let me not start by saying, well, because they say when a politician wants to lie, he start by saying, well. So let me start by saying thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. You know, we are visited by the floods here in KZN and disaster. We are undertaking a major reconstruction program at PRASA as we speak. You will be aware that we have been recovering corridors, and we have set the target to 10 corridors that we need to recover by this year. Some who have suffered from vandalism, but some deliberately, which we decided that from a technical and engineering point of view, we needed to close them down in order to give space for construction, to install OHTEs lines, and at the same time to fix the pairways and to ensure that trains run on time. As you would have seen, Mabupani and the Central Line in Cape Town are our major declared presidential projects. As I'm talking to you now, and is one of those particular projects that have been the main highlight of this reconstruction work. Central Line is following. And here in KZN, we were dealing with the major corridors also whilst we were visited by the floods, and that has probably pushed our work backward. So we are dealing with disaster intervention in KZN, but the work to recover the corridors continues. I slept at 12 last night with PRASA. That means what gives me sleepless nights is PRASA. So I was awake. 6 o'clock I was here in KZN to meet with the mayors and everybody and the provincial government and give them the report and do this oversight work. I can tell you, Rad, that by August, September, most of our corridors will be back in terms of the 10 corridors that we have committed to reconstruct. Of course, PRASA is faced with the major problem of misgovernance over the years. And that is what we're dealing with. You know, we've discovered that PRASA ghost workers. We have not only discovered, but AG have told us about irregular expenditure. I've been to Scopa talking about not only irregular expenditure, but fruitless expenditure. So as a result of lack of proper governance and proper management and all of that, ghost workers. So PRASA is a mess that we are turning around. And I can tell you that in my book of books, we should be very far. But nonetheless, we are working very hard. And I'm very much clear about what I'm saying. Next week on Tuesday, I'll be back in Cape Town for the Central Line on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have acquired land now to move people out of the area which was encroached, Philippi and Langa. And we are already running a minimal service of trains in that particular corridor. We have also recovered the Southern Line, the Northern Line. So that tells you the work that has been going on. And in Soweto and Tembisa and the other areas, we have also been to the area of Salisville, where I showed you the recovery of the corridor, and other corridors, Pienaarpoort adjoining, Naledi is coming in. There's a big construction work that is coming up on the reconstruction of the vandalized train stations in Gauteng. So this work is continuing, and that work will result in more jobs being created. And I've been briefed now that some of the big contracts that have not been awarded at PRASA have now been awarded. One of them is the general overhaul. I don't know you will understand that, but that language is very important. The general overhaul contracts are contracts that support the maintenance of the locomotives and the coaches on a continuous basis. This contract amount to billions of rands, over 10 billion. But now they've awarded probably to the tune of 6 billion, which is a major signal of things changing at PRASA, because what we have seen there at PRASA, because PRASA is a capital intensive company, which means you've got to get your procurement right in order to deliver. And the capacity has been totally destroyed over the years because of lack of governance, corruption, and all of that. So as we recover doing all these things, it means we must get the systems right. The AG has given us at PRASA a report that in itself tells a story that we need to change the gear in terms of the right people in the right position. So the process of employing key executives and adopting the new structure is one of the key elements that we're implementing in terms of the board and ourselves going forward. We must not conflate, in terms of your question, the disaster intervention that has been declared by the president to the overall work that we've got to do and that we are doing. Reprioritization means that we must also take into consideration that other work is going to be affected, but over and above that, we need to deal with these matters with the eye of the hawk so that money is not redirected in such a way that is going to be misused, is going to be corrupted and all of that, as it is redirected to disaster in KZN and other areas. The work that we are doing anyway of ensuring that we recover the corridors in terms of PRASA must not be affected. The work that we are doing and that everybody complains about in terms of potholes and all of that must continue. It will be affected to a certain degree because monies will be reprioritized to fix what is behind you there, which is a sinkhole that has affected that. And now we've got temporary construction on the left of this road, and that will be fixed by the weekend so that we allow people to work and we have economic activity and mobility of both cars and people in terms of work and attending to social amenities in and around the area. So that is what we are doing in terms of intervention. It's temporary, but in the long term, the work of building new roads, maintaining and all of that must actually continue. Yes. There will be no grace period. I've explained that. We have made arrangements for everybody to go and renew their driver's licenses. Let me repeat, there will be no grace period. You must go to your nearest DLTCs, and they've been opened and opened over time. All the technical issues in terms of the issues that are there in terms of LEUs and so on in the DLTCs have been addressed. Where there are technical glitches, as of yesterday, we resolved the situation in the Northwest, in Madibeng Municipality, DLTC, where there were problems. And there is a technical team around the clock that attend to any problems that are there. Motorists must go and renew their driver's licenses. The driver's license machine is been fixed. We are working 24 hours, meaning 12 o'clock during the day and 12 o'clock at night. We are producing 100,000 cards a week. And by June, everybody should be having their driver's license. Their driver's license card. But in the meantime, you will get your temporary driver's license, and those who have a slip up until the 5th of May have actually been granted a reprieve. So from now onwards, go and renew your driver's license. There is no grace period. We are open throughout the country. We are working overtime in every DLTC. Where you see a problem, report it. And then where there are technical glitches, we are ready, we are attending to that. We have also introduced RTMC. Other mechanisms we have actually introduced is ensuring that people are able to access the services at our DLTC 24/7. That is what is important for everybody. So there will be no extension. What are we doing? We are receiving a preliminary report in terms of the driver's license, whether it will be extended to 10 years or remain to 5 years. We are looking at that. And then before end of this month, by June, we will be able to make a determination with regard to that. I'm going back and I'm going back to cabinet to finalize the driver's license, the new driver's license, which must kick in by 2023. But South Africa is looking at single card for everything. But you know that will take us 10 years. So we've been given a mandate to look at that and to lead that team in terms of interministerial committee by cabinet. But in between that, we've got to move faster with the new driver's license, because that is the resolution of all our problems in the long term. But for now, the backlog, we are cutting it to size, and I'm happy about that. We moved it from 2 million to below 500,000 as we speak. By next week, it will be around 300,000 people getting their driver's license card. So all motorists, go and get your driver's licenses. Go and renew your driver's licenses. I've done a grace period, and I've given reprieve, and twice. And I know it happened because of COVID-19 and all of that. But also where it has been because of our own glitches, we have also come in to own up to that and to address the situation. Thank you very much.
Yesterday I had a brief chat with MEC for Transport the Province, that's Fikile. She says the overall expenditure is looking at an estimated over 6 billion, she said, and that there are funds expected from the National Ministry. How much will you be given to the province? Because we do know that they have to reprioritize some of the funds. How much are you giving to the province and when?
Well, I've just read a statement now. It's like we're sitting on a Zoom meeting and people are not listening, and because in a Zoom meeting, when you speak, you think you are speaking to people and they are in a beer hall dancing and not listening to you. So I've just said the figure is 3 billion. We're going to contribute, and the province will contribute 2 billion. And I've just said that right at the beginning, we've got a rapid response team that is now looking at the implementation. Central is our lead. Everybody to cost their own challenges that they've got, and we will be intervening as well. I've also read a catalog. I think our media people will have to distribute that to you, of areas that will be intervening, within which month, how many time frames it will take us to fix those particular roads. So that is what I've actually explained. So the MEC is right. Financially, you can't say that it is absolutely 5 billion, 6 billion. The damage could be going on and on and on. But what do? You fix what comes first. If a bridge is affected, that should be our priority, to fix the bridge. All other roads will actually follow as and when the funds are available. But with what we've got, we should make a dent to reverse the disaster that has happened here on our roads in KwaZulu-Natal. Yeah.
Do you have any other questions? Ronald, from EMC?
Just last two questions from me. The first one is to deal with the issue of businesses who rely heavily on the roads. We saw last year the impact that the unrest had with several trucks were gutted in those unrests. And also, just give us a sense, Minister, how much could this cost the economy? You also mentioned that 2 toll plazas will be temporarily closed. How much will that impact the economy?
Well, the toll plaza per week is costing us 4 million. So that will affect in the long term the capacity of SANRAL to intervene in the maintenance of the road infrastructure in terms of those tolls. So we're looking at over, 100 million probably, 400 million per over 18 months. That's what we're looking at. But the only way to cut that down is to fix the road, and that is what we're doing. So I'm coming back in the next coming weeks and other weeks to witness this work going on, like the work that is happening here. So I've mentioned how long will it actually take us to fix that particular work, but it's humanitarian aid. If people can't go to work, we can't maintain a road here and not allow our people to pass through. So we have to work very hard in terms of the province, ourselves and SANRAL, to fix that part of the road, Utongati and Umvoti, to enable the toll road to come back to full operation. The time we are giving ourselves is really to ensure that within a month or two, that situation is reversed.
Just lastly, just a question for my colleague Heidi Chakas. She wants to know what seems to be the issue with jet fuels. It's not part of what we're discussing, but she just wants to know.
The jet fuel, I'm issuing a statement, I'm updating every day, is resolved, is stabilized. The issue with the jet fuel is that the refinery that is feeding to OR Tambo in particular has been affected because the floods have washed away the rail network from Hammersdale. So in particular Shell, which is the main supplier to OR Tambo. But out of engagement with the Mineral Energy Ministry and also the department and AXA, that situation has been stabilized. I know that there's been reports that some airlines are going to Windhoek to fill up and all of that. Under normal circumstances, this is what is happening under the radar and without any reporting. So that is not equal to a crisis. So that is what we must actually understand. But for that particular purpose, for all intents and purposes, is to ensure that we update. And AXA have issued the nota, meaning to all, sorry?
Notice to all airmen.
Yeah, notice to all airmen to ensure that all airlines know that there is no crisis at OR Tambo and everything is generally in order. So we don't have a crisis in that regard. It is important for us to keep up the update because there's all sorts of reports that come every day around that particular matter. We have attended to it immediately when it was reported and when it was brought to our attention. All the departments involved, Mineral and Energy, DPE, ourselves and our entities, we are on top of the situation. I can use that word now with confidence. Yeah.
If there are no other further questions, Minister, I think we can close up the media briefing and I'll make an announcement once you're done.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't have much to say. I think our journey started this morning with engaging with the municipalities. I can say that our coordination now is better. I know that many people out there are impatient with regard to the disaster and the resolution. Our being here working with our entities and the municipalities, it shows that we are on track, but we have not arrived. We are working very hard to turn the situation around and to ensure that as soon as possible, the disaster intervention is able to produce its own results. And thank you very much for keeping up with us, media, and our story. And we are open to your questions even beyond the call of duty. We are with Mr. Collins here with a black suit. He's working as a head of our department, media. In the Department of Transport, is the man in charge. He's not my spokesperson. Using a CV, so a political appointment. So he's forever there. So those are the ones who coordinate our media. Umuntu o political appointment was Ayanda Ungshile. So nani mani no bono umuntu niwe nize la nizongisiza niyabona kunzima. Sengiyabila manje. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just thought I should make this brief announcement. We are now going to move to the third segment of this program, which is at Emolweni Hall, where there will be humanitarian relief that will be dispersed. But before that, we will be serving lunch at the Protea Hotel Karadin. It's near Ilovo Bridge. You can't miss it. There will be a convoy going in that direction. The media is also invited to come to have lunch with us. We'd really appreciate that. If there are any media who are interested in one-on-ones with the minister, he is available briefly before we head out for lunch. Thank you.
Where will you stand?